Hi, this is Carlton Cullens, and welcome to the Blue Sky Strong Box. This would be probably the first exercise in the kettlebell warm-up. These are a second exercise called halos in the kettlebell warm-up. The one before this, make sure to do both sides on that turnaround thing. Third exercise in a kettlebell warm-up would be just doing goblet squats. You don't go. The goal is to always try to get down to the knees and touch the knees with the elbows. But the first few, you don't want to do that, and you just want to ease down into them. And if ever there's a day where you feel really, really tight, just avoid going low and just stay high. This fourth one, the warm-up is called a good morning, and you just kind of carry the kettlebell behind you. Go down. Knees can bend a little bit. Back should stay straight though. This would probably be an option one to do, is to do single arm deadlifts. It's probably better with a lighter weight to do single arm because it'll make it a little bit more demanding on the body. Obviously using two arms is going to be a little too easy, but this one works well. So these are all options. These are the leg portion. These are all leg exercises. So the original deadlift we did in the previous video was single arms. You could do one time. Another workout, you could do a goblet squat. You could even do a goblet squat with an overhead shoulder press. And this is a single leg deadlift. You could just pick one of these for each workout, and this will kind of cover your legs. I would rotate them as much as possible. Another option for like more of a knee dominant leg exercise would be the split squats. You can do them without weight, or you can pick up the kettlebell and do it with weight. Just make sure it doesn't hurt your groin. Obviously, for upper body pushing component, you could do push-ups way often. Another option instead of a push-up would be to lay on your back in kind of the get up position and do a chest press from the ground. You just touch your elbow to the ground, come straight back up. All right. This is another option for your upper body pressing, is to do an overhead press with a kettlebell. If you're going to do an overhead press, you might as well add a squat to it. It'll work your core, it'll work your legs, and you'll get the shoulder aspect out of it. These are those kind of plank kettlebell rows that you would do for your pulling, one of your pulling exercises. You could also do upside down rows, like using a barbell if you had anything like that. Also doing kettlebell swings will count, and that uses a lot of your upper back muscles, so that will count as a pulling exercise. Alright, another option for a pulling exercise would be to tie your tubing band off and be in a plank to row. Obviously, doing both sides. You could always tie, here I've got one of these tied off. You can always tie one off and just bend it around something and do the squat pulls. You can do pulls up this way. You can do single leg rows. Any of those will work for pulls. For pushing, you can step forward, push. You can come around, do a fly and push. You can do two at one time. You can do them from the knees. You can do one from them. All work well. Alright, as far as core, you can always do a million things. We've done basic planks. You can go to side plank. Long arm side planks I typically like better than the elbows bent. You can lay on your back and bend the knees and do the butt bridges. Just make sure when you do these, your stomach stays tight and your hips go up, but you don't overextend your back. You just go up to straight and you stop it straight. This next one they call the bird dog or the quadruped. Always the goal in this one is to keep your core really tight and just move from your hips and your shoulder socket really smoothly. If you ever have back pain, this would be the exercise to probably do, because this is what they always prescribe and typically in physical therapy and all that stuff. But this one is a good core exercise as long as you keep your stomach tight and don't allow your back to bend. These are they're called Pallof holds, but it doesn't really matter what they're called. But you just come out right in front of your sternum, make sure your shoulder blades are back, your chest stays up, stomach tight, and you just hold these for about as long as you can, and then go to the other side. There we go. This next one is the same variation of that last one. This one is just, it's called the lift in the chop and lift family, but basically your outside leg is forward and you're bringing it from low to high, high to the outside leg. But if you didn't have anywhere to tie it off low, you could just tie it sideways, straight, straight horizontally, or you could bring it from high to low. But if you did that, if you went from high to low, you would actually, your outside leg would be back instead of forward. Okay, so the key to your everyday workouts is basically doing a pushing exercise. Doesn't matter if it's going up or down or front to back, doesn't matter. Just some type of pushing exercise, some type of pulling exercise, and something for the legs and something for the core. You can combine some of these. The swings that you're doing right now and the Turkish get-ups are things that would probably be best to do on your off days, that you could do for like 10, 15, 20 minutes probably max, and you could just do different rounds. I would never do more than 10 swings at a time and then rest, and you could do as many as you could until you got too tired or your form really suffered. Get-ups, I would never do more than probably 10 get-ups. You'd go one side and always go to the other. Other options you could do, you could run sprints, you could do burpees, which we've done. You could do a lightweight core circuit where you did front plank, side plank, lay on your back and do the butt bridges and just do those over and over and over for 10 or 15 minutes. You could do lots of things. You could do the ice skaters where you jump sideways back and forth. Anything to get your heart rate up. Jumping jacks work really, really well, but I think sticking to the swings work really well because they'll work all your muscles that are good for your posture. So, and they're extremely tiring, as you know. If you can find an Air Schwindyne bike, you can call it the Beast, and you can do that until you pass out. All right, here you go. Here's the Turkish get up, and just a good exercise. Always right there, bring that leg out. You squeeze both hips when you come up. Come all the way up. Keep looking at that weight all the way down. Hand down, bring it all the way through. Come back down easy. This is something you could do at the very end. You could use your thin tubing bands. It doesn't matter as long as it's elastic, but you just pull it apart with straight, make your elbows completely straight. All the way up it. And go. And that way you get that straight. This works the rotator cuff system you do at the very end of the workout. If you do want to do biceps or any of that kind of stuff, shoulders, biceps, triceps, that kind of stuff, those little muscles should all be done at the end of the workout because you don't want to, strengthen or weaken a link in the chain. But biceps get worked out when you do any pulling. Triceps get worked out when you do any pushing. But if you want to further work those out, you can. It doesn't matter.